Trace Trylko, Sons of UCF. Knights back in the bounce house this weekend, fighting for bowl eligibility. After dropping a 24-23 game at Texas Tech, that loss to the Red Raiders leaves the Knights 5-6. Offensive coordinator Darin Hinshaw explains that play call right before the end of the first half. And defensive coordinator Addison tells us why the Knights had so many problems with the Red Raiders running game. All right, Coach, opening remarks. What was your overall assessment of the game?
We opened the game again. We had a good game plan, drove down there and scored on the first drive. And then, the third drive, we ended up driving down there and scoring, go up 14-0. I thought we had a good game plan of what we thought they were going to be and who, what they do a good job with their fronts and their coverages, but we had a good plan going into it as we went through it. What hurt us in the game was discipline and penalties. We had too many of them that put us in bad situations. For the turnover, the interception by John Rice was in a critical time, in the third quarter where it was a situation where we put our defense right back on the field. And that was, that's the one thing I've been talking about is about discipline and turnovers. That's been our, the only thing that's really held us back, and the turnover hurt us in that situation. And then, before half, the situation we drive down there and we're there, and then, the situation with calling an RPO was not a great decision. John Rice, it's not on the players. It's a situation where, again, he did what he was supposed to do. He pitched the ball, and we didn't have enough time to clock it to get the field goal. We should have thrown the ball in the end zone. So, that hurt us. But again, at the end, when you look at, the offensive players, and I talked to them today, and we watched all the film in detail, that we had many opportunities to have explosive plays and situations in the game where, again, it's one guy here, one guy there, and situations where we could have opened that game up, and we could have put up a lot of points in that situation. We moved the ball well. We converted on third downs. Red zone hurt us. We were 9-15 on third down with the red zone. We scored 2 times out of 5, and we've been scoring every time that we've been going down to the last 2 games, which is, again, propelled us to go win those games. And those close games, you got to punch the ball in the end zone. So we got to do better in the red zone, and that's the bottom line.
Coming off the win over Oklahoma State, and you jump out to the early lead, you got to feel good about where you are at that point early on.
Yeah, and again, back, the Oklahoma State's gone, but did you mean Texas Tech?
Well, no, you come off the win over Oklahoma State, and then you jump out early on Texas Tech. So offensively, you're. We had a plan, and we, again, 14-0, and again, situation where that next drive penalties hurt us, and we can't get holding penalties. We can't get situations where we're jumping off sides, and the bottom line is we had opportunities at that point to pull the game even farther ahead, and we got to be able to do that and put the hammer down when that opportunity comes. At this point in the season, just one game to go, what's most frustrating about those sorts of penalties and those sorts of mistakes? You'd want more discipline from your team.
Yeah, just situation again where Thailand had 2 holding penalties. Where we had a huge run that would have put us inside the 10-yard line, and Alec Holler got a holding penalty, and he just had his hand a little bit outside and pulled at the wrong time, and you got to strain and keep your hands inside, and just the discipline of blocking.
R.J. Harvey, he's had a run here of late. He didn't break anything big in this game. What did Texas Tech show you defensively?
Well, we knew they kept their safeties deep and really rallied, and and again, we had a good game plan as far as RPOs and what we wanted to do against them and running the football, and then they were going to move their front up, and our old line had to do a good job with handling movement and their different pressures and all the things that they did. But it was just literally, again, and you really look at the wide receivers. We had situations where we've got to finish blocks that we've been doing, and again, finish on the perimeter, and those are when those
10-yard runs become 40-yard runs. And, so it's a situation where, again, it takes all 11 of us to do that. And that's why it's not just R.J. Harvey that does it or any running back. It's all 11 of us doing it.
Take us through John Rice Plumlee's day and what went on during that interception that you saw.
Well, we've been throwing RPOs during the game, and we called some shot situations, and again we called one at that point, and they went to a cover 2 situation. And when they went to cover 2, it's not our time to take that shot. And then he had pressure on that and felt like he could throw the ball outside, and the ball ended up drifting towards the safety and was intercepted. But the bottom line, he shouldn't have been on that side of the field. As soon as he sees cover 2, he's got to go to the field, and that's that. It's that simple. So, and there's other coverages that all our routes are based on coverages in different situations, and he's got to know where to go with the football. And in that situation, he made a mistake.
And it bites you, of course, because they score. The interception UCF had, they don't produce points, so that's a big difference in the game then.
Yes, and that's the turning point right there, where we can't put our defense, and we talked about it constantly, is don't turn the football over, and every drive with the kick. Don't put our defense right back on the field and put them in that situation.
16-32 on the night, though. How would you describe his overall performance?
Yeah, there was some situations where there were some throwaways and some opportunity balls, and we had some balls that we thought were catches that the referees did not, but the bottom line is, at the end of the day, there was times where he threw the ball very well, but his deep ball throws have been really, really good. It was windy out there, and he had some balls that were going across the formations a little bit more to the field, and he had to throw the ball again on target, and some of them were thrown inside, and there was making hard catches for the receivers, and those are the throws he's been making. And there's some great throws that he made during the game, but bottom line is he's got to put that ball out and let our receivers just keep it away from the defense, keep it away from the corners, keep it away, don't let them touch it, let our receivers go make plays.
Go to the fake field goal. What went into the decision at that point and where you were on the field?
Again, that's Coach Hand did a great job as far as that goes, and knew we had an opportunity for a fake field goal, and it was the perfect situation to do that. And again, it was a great call by Coach Malzahn, and Coach Hand did a great job as far as communicating when to do it, and it worked out perfect. Put us in a situation where we went and scored.
Boomer showed you a little speed there on that
He
play?
did. He was running. He should have scored. Coach Malzahn was saying, how did he not score? So, but we did a good job executing there and finishing that drive off when we did fake the field goal.
Let's go back now to that sequence towards the end of the half. As I watched it, I think there was about 22 seconds left, and then John Rice is running around and throws it away, but burned 10 seconds. That was really a big chewing up of time right there with no timeout.
It's a learning situation again, where we call a play where we're trying to throw the ball to the boundary. It wasn't there. It didn't look clean, and he went and scrambled instead of just throwing the ball out of bounds, and that saves time on the clock. And throw the ball out of bounds. He scrambled and tried to go make a play, and the time it takes to scramble. Time is our enemy in that situation, and he needs to throw the ball out of bounds.
And then the play call itself, did you have some options there? What was the thinking there with that much time left on the clock? What were you hoping was going to happen there?
Well, we were in a situation again where we do a lot of RPOs in different situations in our whole offense, and it was a situation where we felt like we had a good play for what we thought they were going to go do, and it was just not the right call in that situation with that time on the clock, because if we did run the football, we'd have to go clock it, and we were just a second short of clocking it. And you can't put your kids in that situation. Bottom line, we should have thrown the ball in the end zone once or twice, and then kick the field goal if it's not there. But it's a situation where, again, it's a situation where at that time that was a call that we liked in that situation, but not with that much time. We needed more time on the clock. We liked it against what they were doing defensively and what they thought, and it was a very good play, and it almost scored, but you can't call that in that situation.
As you go into the locker room, what's the conversation about? That's a deflating moment. You got to pick the guys up at that point.
Yeah, and it's a situation where we know we left points on the field, and we can't do that. We got to put them on the scoreboard.
And you want to see drives end in points. Pretty chip-shotty kind of field goal, 32 yards. You expect you're going to get some points on that.
Yeah, and we drove down there, and it was a third down situation, and the ball ended up in the middle of the field, and Boomer's been unbelievable at field goals, but we gotta get those 3 points right there for sure. And, he pushed it and hit the upright, but we reacted to the situation. I was proud of us driving down, kicking a field goal, and then on the next drive we go down and score. On our last 2 drives, we just didn't get an opportunity at the end of the game.
Coach Malzahn said after the game that he respects the resiliency that the team has shown throughout the year. They showed it towards the end of the game. There was a fight there to get that touchdown.
Yeah, we scored the last 2 drives. And again, very, very proud of our players and how they stuck together in adverse situations. And we talk about all the time, we got to be road warriors and be ready to go play for 60 minutes. And it was just a situation, that we had our opportunities early, and we got to take advantage of them.
You don't watch the game, you just see the score. You say, missed extra point, but there's more to it than that one play.
Yeah, there's definitely, you can go through the whole game and go through situations where there's different plays that seem like simple plays, but they have big play potential and plays that could have gotten us in the end zone. And we got to go, execute those plays in a hostile environment and go do that. And there's a lot of situations where our players play with unbelievable effort and put us in that situation, but we have to go find a way to go finish, and we got to go score 1 more point than they do. That's the bottom line, and we got to get it done.
What do you say to critics who say there's just too much talent on this team, both sides of the ball, to be 5-6 fighting for bowl eligibility going into the last week?
Yeah, and again, there's the ball bounces our way in a couple games in situations, and there's a lot. We've lost close games, bottom line, and you win and lose as a team. And there's situations where, again, I'm speaking for the offense, and the bottom line is that we got to outscore them, and we've got to find a way to go put enough points up to go win games. That's the bottom line.
So senior night now, you got the home game. What does that mean for the team now? You have 1 more at least, and there's a lot on the line.
No, it's huge. It's huge. As a senior, and I was a senior here, and I remember my last game. I remember it well. We played Liberty, and you want to go out winners, bottom line, and we're gonna fight for these seniors and do everything we can to go win this game against Houston on Saturday. And we had good meetings today, watching the film, going through it all, and going through the situation, and we know what we got to go do, and we've got to go have a great week of practice and get ready to go get a W for these seniors and put them out the right way.
What's a bowl bid mean, though? It's extra practices, it's stuff that you can build upon going into another season.
For sure, and again, bowl games are huge, as far as doing, practicing all the situations, and you get a lot of, it's almost like another spring practice as far as being able to practice all those days and to get your young guys, involved and to get them ready for, again, the future of what UCF's going to be, and it's an exciting time. And then to go to a bowl site and to go through all the situations that happen with bowls, and it's exciting. So this means a lot, everything. So again, senior night, it's Thanksgiving weekend, the whole week, and again, we have an opportunity to again go to a bowl game, and it's huge. And to put these seniors out the right way. It's their last home game that they'll play again in the bounce house.
What's Thanksgiving mean to you? What are you most thankful for?
Oh, I'm thankful for so many things, and it's just the first thing is just thanking God for all the blessings that you have, and just to look at all the friends and family that you have around your life, and then to be able to say, again, with these players, we're going to have a Thanksgiving meal with the players, and again, to be able to be thankful for the opportunities that we have in front of us, and again, for the future and where this program is going to be going, and it's very exciting. And it's a time to be around loved ones, and it's an exciting time. And I haven't had a Thanksgiving that I haven't had a game week in 25 years, so this is very normal for me, and I'm always excited for this weekend.
Let's begin with what's your overall assessment, defensive performance in this game?
The biggest thing is that we did not. Well, first off, we gave up a few too many explosives in the passing game, so that's something that we've limited for the most part. But we gave up a couple of those. One of them being early in the game that we have to eliminate. The next thing is from a running standpoint, we fit the run fairly well for the most part, but we did not tackle as well as we needed to. It was entirely too many yards after contact. I believe you end up with about 180 yards, and 110, 112 of them were after contact. So we got to do a better job of running our feet on contact and not just throwing our shoulder out at guys, which is something we talked about. And credit to Brooks. He's low to the ground, but he's a big, thick back, and you got to really run your feet when tackling guys like that.
How was he different than what you faced a week earlier with Ollie Gordon?
Ali was a guy, he was more of a downhill runner. You didn't really worry about him bouncing the football. And so with Brooks, he's a guy that he's always looking to bounce the ball when you don't maybe have an edge set, but he also could run the ball up inside. And so what you're seeing when he did bounce some of those balls in some of the angles, us trying to tackle him, we weren't as good as we needed to be in some of those situations.
What's most frustrating when you hold a guy like Gordon to 25 yards, the performance that you had the week earlier, and as you mentioned, some of the missed tackles? What's most frustrating about that when you come off of such a dominating performance?
Yeah, it's week to week, and I try to get the guys to understand that it's so many highs and lows in college football. And again, it's one week you're the greatest team, next week you're the worst team. So just focusing on that task at hand. So I really try not to get as frustrated about those type of things.
Early on, Texas Tech was moving the ball, but you had 2 fourth-down stops. Was that encouraging to you from your defense?
Well, very encouraging. We were pretty good on 4th down. I believe they rolled for 2, and then even on 3rd down, we were pretty solid for the most part once we got them in 3rd and longs on last night.
You go into the half. Brooks doesn't have many carries. He's got some yards, but did you make any adjustments at the half? Because you knew he'd be a force in the second half, right?
Yes, we did, and obviously they came out, they wanted to throw the football a little more than what they had shown on tape the last couple of weeks, but we figured they would with what Oklahoma State tried to do to us, and even Cincinnati opened the game up, throwing the ball quite a bit with us, adding extra hats to the box. And so the main thing was to try to contain Brooks. So that was the main thing at halftime, again.
And is what stands out to you when you looked at film, it's the tackling is what really irks you about the performance?
Yeah, it was a tackle, and then it's obviously I can always do a better job with the guys and being able to get more hats to the ball, but then you get into the point where do you get more hats to the ball, or do you try to protect some of the guys on the outside when they're taking all the shots? So it's a cat and mouse game that you play, for sure.
You talk about the shots they were taking, throwing the ball. Not a lot of pass rush in this one. What stands out to you about your defensive line?
To me, it always starts up front, and they were guys that we challenged all week, and I challenged them again in the meetings today that we have to dominate the line of scrimmage. When our defensive line go, we go as a unit. When our defensive line doesn't go, it is not very pretty for us as a unit. So we'll continue to challenge those guys, and I'm sure those guys will respond. And there was some good things that they did. I'm not going to sit here and say they just had an awful game. There was a lot of good things that they did. But in some of those situations, we do expect our guys to take over the football game.
What did you like about what they did?
D-line.
D-line.
D-line, they play with pretty good effort for the most part. Again, it's not they're in the gaps, but we expect those guys to play a gap and a half. You take on the block, you feel great at point of attack, and then get off the block, and then go get involved on the ball, not just being sitting ducks, sitting in your gaps right there.
Again, Nakai comes up with an INT. What's it been like to see him develop over the course of this season?
The guy is one that works his tail off, so he's reaping the benefits of his work. He's a guy that loves football. He's always asking questions, always in the meeting room watching tape. And so what he's put on tape is just a product of the work that he's put in. So definitely proud of the guy and happy for the success that he's had.
You got Ricky Barber back for this one. You've had to play without him at various stretches during the season. How challenging is that for your defense?
It's challenging. He's been one of the better players that we've had on defense, and of course, the defensive line since we've been here. So you take a guy like that, and he's out of the lineup, but when he's in the lineup, he's not just 100%, but he's straining for his teammates and for his coaches and whatnot. It's always impressive for him, but it's always hard with a guy like that when he's out of the lineup for sure. And then just playing musical chairs when he's out of the lineup as well.
What are you most encouraged about when you see the emergence of your young guys?
The future is bright, and again, I've said before, these dark times won't last. We're going to work our tail off to put the best possible product on the field against Houston on Saturday, and send these teams out with a bang and a win in their last home game and getting bowl eligible. But at the same time, it's a lot of young guys that are emerging, so it's very encouraging for our future.
How do you respond to critics who say you've got too much talent on both sides of the ball to be, at this point, not being bowl eligible?
Again, everybody has their opinion, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, and I respect everyone's opinion, but my job is to just continue to put my head down and continue to get these guys better and put them in the best possible position to be successful.
What's important, obviously, about getting a bowl for the future and the practices that come with that, and also just the reward for a hard-fought season?
One is the reward, and the guys get a few days to go someplace that they may not normally go and relax. They get different bowl gifts, so that's one of the big things for them. And then from a coach's standpoint, you always love the extra time of practice, which you don't necessarily get as many as you do during spring ball, but it gives you an opportunity to really spend some time with some of the younger guys that may not have played as much, or some of the younger guys that redshirted, and just getting those guys prepared moving forward for the future. And with some of the new rules, even if you had a guy that played 4 games, he can still play in the bowl game. And so that's giving those young guys an opportunity and an incentive too at the end of the year to play another game.
Loss stings, of course. You got the 24-hour rule. How would you describe practice in your meetings today?
Meetings are good. The guys, they're obviously hurt, but when we get in there and I'm pretty straight shooter with them, I tell them where I could be better and also tell them where they can be better. And we go through it, and a lot of times I allow the guys to call out, what should have happened here? You know what I'm saying? They'll say, and you know that they know. And so then even from my standpoint, okay, hey, I got you to call right here late. I got to do a better job here. Or hey, in this situation, this is what I was thinking. This is why I make this call. And so it's an open line of communication. The guys they're always very receptive. And like I said, they were hurt from the loss, but they'll be ready to move forward and get back to work this week.
What's your sense of how motivated they are to get that bowl eligibility?
They're very motivated, and even in front of the defense, I had the 8 seniors stand up, the 8 guys that are exhausted eligibility. And even then I had the 12 freshmen that are there, those guys stand up and just understand it happens fast. And so just, these are your brothers. The season hasn't gone the way that we wanted to go, but this is an opportunity to send your brothers out on a high note and winning their last game at home, becoming bowl eligible, which is your first time being in the Big 12. So it's a lot of riding in the game for us, and the guys are excited about it.
A lot of celebration, recognition of the seniors. How do you balance the emotions that come with a senior night and the focus at hand? Obviously, this is a team that needs that one more win.
No doubt. It's always tough, and I've been a part of several of them. It's always tough. And some guys take it a little harder than others. I say take it hard, but are a little more emotional than others. But it's really, you just got to get through those first couple minutes of the game, and then it's back into a normal game after that.
Number of weeks now you've been on the sideline. How have you seen that process change for you?
It's been very different than just being able to be down there with the guys when things are going right, when things are going wrong, just seeing how they're responding and being able to just look in their eyes and make the different adjustments, and them constantly hearing my voice. So it has been a good adjustment.
So Houston's lost at Oklahoma State. They're 4-7 now. Not sure what their heart will be into this. What do you guys have to do to make a stand and get this win on Saturday?
The biggest thing is going to be about us. It's not going to be about Houston. It's going to be about UCF. And like I tell them all the time, no other team comes in and make a bad play call. No other team comes in and miss a tackle. No other team miss an opportunity on the interception. It's all about us. And so we just got to make sure we prepare ourselves this week to put the best product on the field, and that's individually and as a group. As long as we have a good week of preparation, we'll be in a good spot come Saturday.
Team's been better at home. What's been the struggle on the road, especially in conference games? What makes it so much tougher?
Obviously, it's a foxhole mentality, and it's us against the world. And we have to just continue to embrace that and understand that we have to bring our own momentum, we have to bring our own juice, and be able to take the crowd out of the game. And when we got an opportunity that we're up and we got a chance to put them away, we got to be able to finish and put them away and keep the crowd out of it. But let them back in the game and the crowd gets back in it, then that's when everybody get discombobulated. And that's one of the beauties about college football is that home field advantage. But just our guys continue to embrace that warrior mentality.
Coach Malzahn said after the game that, this has been a resilient team. It's bounced back, went through the rough spot and then strung together some wins. Do you see that resiliency going into this last week of the regular season?
I do. We got a lot of guys that they love each other, they care about each other, they're going to go to war for each other, they're going to fight for each other. So I see our guys bouncing back, having a good week of practice, and being ready to go play on Saturday.
Thanksgiving week, what are you thankful for?
First and foremost, I'm thankful for life. It's amazing. Thankful for my family, my wife Chelsea, my kid Ace, my son Ace, I should say, and my daughter Lou. That's what I'm most thankful for. And they definitely ones that keep me going. Obviously, it's been a trying season, but going home and seeing their faces every day is definitely a source of motivation, a source of thankfulness for myself to continue to keep going. And obviously, thankful to be in this position that I'm in and have an opportunity to impact young men as well.
So it all comes down to this, a Saturday showdown with Houston. It's senior night. With a win, the Knights become bowl eligible at 6-6. With a loss, the season is over. For the Sons of UCF, I'm Trace Trylko.